Hi, I'm Dave Forehand. We're in the garden at the Dallas Arboretum, and today I want to talk about trees. And I want to talk about an area of the tree you may not be as familiar with or ever really considered, because we know about the beautiful trunks of trees, the limbs, the leaves, the great structure, the bark, but there's an area of the tree called the root flair. It's where the trunk of the tree meets the start of the roots of the tree, and that transition is very important to the health of the tree. And we're going to look at that, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that and how you can make sure your trees are healthy. Let's go take a look. All right, we're here on a very nice mature green ash here at the Arboretum, and this tree's got great root flair, if you will. Again, the flair is where the trunk meets the start of the roots, and it's called the flair because you'll get this kind of curve where the trunk is transitioning into all the major roots that provide the support and all the nutrients for the tree. And why it's so important to make sure this is exposed is the bark of the tree does not like to be wet continually. If you're buried too deep and this bark is underground or covered with mulch and stays moist all the time, it can actually start to degrade the bark and you can have decay, and you don't want that. The skin on the roots actually can take moisture. It's a different type of material there that covers the roots. And a root, if it's exposed, can actually grow bark, but the trunk, after it's just buried, can't grow root skin to protect itself from the moisture. So it can cause problems over time, disease, and decline of the tree. So you want to make sure that you have a great exposure, as you see here. A lot of municipalities, cities in particular, are notorious for having what are called mulch volcanoes. They come in and they mulch a foot or more deep around every tree, thinking that they're doing the tree some kind of favor by putting bark around it. Partly, I think it's so they don't have to mow right up to the edge of the tree. But that's the worst thing to do. You want to make sure you don't put that kind of material around the tree. It's okay to mulch around the tree, you just don't want it to be deep or bury up around the trunk, and that's very important. A lot of landscape or arbor care companies will come in if you need it done, and they can blow away all that excess soil and mulch using what's called an air spade. It's just high pressure forced air that's blown out of a fan-shaped tool that will carefully get rid of all the soil and the debris around the tree without hurting the roots or the trunk. You can do it yourself. Water's actually a good way as you slowly blow away all that material, and you can expose the flair as well. Okay, we're right next to a good-looking young red maple. This Acer rubrum had its trunk a little too deep, and we've just exposed this root flair here in the last month or so, and you can still see the coloration change between the trunk and where it was buried a little too deep. So what we did, we were able to just use a little air spade, a tool that allows you to blow away using high pressure air the mulch and the soil around the base of the root. But using just air, it won't harm the trunk or the roots, but you can get at getting rid of this extra debris. And you can see how we've exposed this flair pretty nicely to keep this tree healthy. A tree like this would be very easy to just pile mulch around it and think you've done a good thing or it's going to look good, but you don't need that around the tree for it to be healthy. Really need to keep this exposed, and we can see that. So good example. I know it's something you may have not heard about before, but I want you to make sure that your trees are well taken care of. You can come out to the Dallas Arboretum and see how we take care of our trees and enjoy all the beautiful flowers. Hope to see you out here soon.